Cheers.
Cheers. Well, it's that time again.
I'm Susan.
And I'm Annie.
Well, hello, Annie. It's nice to meet you.
And this, good to meet you too. And this is
It is
two friends,
but one
chat.
chat.
One
Just
chat.
Two of us, one chat.
We may get clinical. We may get clinical.
Okay, also,
Mm-hmm.
that real song,
Yeah.
the Let's Get Physical,
Let's get
I played it. I did a thing at work,
Yeah.
and I was trying to make it fun.
Olivia Newton-John, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And physical therapy was presenting, so I played just
love
the
that.
song Let's Get Physical, but of course on my computer
It's a video.
I'm seeing the video.
Real sexy, huh?
Have you ever
yeah.
seen that? Ooh.
She is very sexy.
Okay, but not just her. That video, you should rewatch. That video goes, and I loved every second of it. Of course, I wouldn't have showed it at the thing I was doing, but I was just, it blew me away a little bit.
Blew me. Name of my sexy.
No. Anyway.
We're professional here.
Well,
I do
we
it.
didn't say we were professional. We just said we were going to get clinical.
Clinical. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Good distinction. And actually very applicable to today's episode because what we're going to talk about is very personal experience driven.
Ooh, yeah.
No, it's going to be good. It's going to be fun.
Uh-huh. Just like meditation.
Okay, the way you said just made me think, that's my shit. All the girls gotta be like that. Few times I've been around that track, it's not just gonna happen like that, cause I ain't no holla back girl. Alright, that
Okay, sorry. Sorry. Plug your ears. That probably got loud.
Hey,
Love
you'd
you.
be okay. You'd
Love
be
you.
okay. You'd be
Okay.
okay. Now you just have a hunger for Gwen Stefani. And who doesn't?
Oh, who doesn't?
She's the best.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we talked a lot yesterday, and we will dive into this again because it is a huge part of the human existence.
Yeah.
We talked about the feelings wheel and starting to understand, maybe putting some words to more emotions than just, I'm happy, I'm sad, and I'm mad. Identify. We look.
Yeah.
You can't see us right now.
We have hand binoculars on. Did you notice? Do you watch America's Got Talent? And Heidi Klum always does hand binoculars to see better on the stage.
I don't.
It works a little.
Wait, she's doing it to see what on the stage?
Just because she's seeing the performers on the stage, and when she wants to see,
She does this on live
she does
television?
she does,
And she's not embarrassed?
and she's not, and it works a little bit.
Does it?
Not because it focuses things right. It just takes all that peripheral out.
Okay.
But I don't think it visually puts a lens on. Obviously, it's just our hands over our eyes.
Well, as someone that doesn't love sensory overload, it is weirdly calming because
Thank you.
taking a lot of the light out.
That's what I'm saying.
I still got my goggles on.
I think
guys.
it works a little bit. Anyway, so last episode we identified with our binoculars.
We identified some feelings
Yeah.
and expanded, perhaps, and maybe you already knew. And in that case, effing lucky.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yes, that's
Proud
great.
of you.
Excited for you. That gives me a ton of hope.
Excited for yes.
Mhm.
Oh, that people maybe are growing up knowing this already. Oh, that does give me hope.
It really does.
Yeah.
And hope is a powerful emotion because you are realizing that there is an element of control to what's happening and you can see a positive outcome.
Love it.
Hope is a beautiful
I love
thing.
it.
It's an absolute magical thing. Okay. But today,
now we've identified them. Now we have to.
we're just going to reflect a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We're going to reflect on times we were feeling feelings and maybe it had a good outcome. Maybe it didn't. And possibly in retrospect, providing for our listeners, could you learn from something we did?
Oh.
And or maybe you kind of did something similar. You're
Yeah.
not alone. And it's not bad, right?
Yes, we have to remember feelings are not bad.
And
They're
let's-
not bad and good feelings.
If you didn't know and you reacted poorly, let's
Yeah.
break that shame spiral or spiral. Wow.
Spiral. Okay. It's
okay.
all right.
Okay. Let's break that shame spiral
Uh-huh.
and really kind of dive into what we could have done better
Mm-hmm.
and process that and then learn from that. I think
Yes.
that's what's really important. So you will probably, as a listener, maybe identify with some of the things we've done.
Oh, I'm sure. Because I know we think like we're the only ones that have ever done these things, but it's not true. We've all done these things.
Oh, everybody
So I'm
has.
sure on some level,
Mm-hmm.
some of you will be like, oh, girl, me too.
Been there.
Me too.
Okay.
Been there, done that, got the t-shirt.
Let's start with an easy one. Let's start with Mad. Mad, I think, is
Oh.
easiest. We have so...
Easy for you,
Oh, yeah.
maybe?
Oh, yeah? You can't think of a time you've been, like, mad?
Yes, again.
Okay.
It just was always such a not okay feel. Like,
Oh.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't mean, like, an easy one to process.
Oh, gotcha.
Easy to identify,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell that, like, maybe a reflection story?
Oh, of a time I was mad?
Mm-hmm.
Recent?
Doesn't have to be.
Far away?
It can be historical.
Okay. I think a time. Oh, I tend to go back to work. I think just because I work so much, right?
Yeah. I think that's fair. It's a perfect example.
There was a time that I was very angry at a comment that was made by a superior in front of a bunch of clients.
Oh man, was it about clients or just a general comment?
It was not about clients. It was about me.
Oh dear.
That I think that person and me and this person have already like hashed this out. I don't think that person listens, so I'm not super concerned.
Yeah.
But even if they have, we've already hashed this out, so
Yeah.
less worry about sharing this story. They had made a comment about me in front of a bunch of our clients at a group that we were having. I'm now trying to make a joke, right?
Oh.
But it came across poorly. The fact is this had happened before and I just kind of like it didn't whatever.
Yeah.
But this particular time my clients came up to me
Oh.
and were like trying to console me.
Oh yeah. Things
Right?
were out of hand.
So then it was
Yeah.
like, whoa, now we're affecting the people we're supposed to be supporting, so like that's not okay with me and I got very angry.
Yeah.
But I'm not confrontational, so I just sat
Ooh.
in that.
Did it have byproducts of just sitting in it?
Did it? Of course it did.
Yeah.
Of course, right, when you're
Yeah.
sitting in that sort of mad, right, which really is hurt,
Yeah.
right? I'm hurt by that comment.
Absolutely.
Right? But I'm not confrontational. I'm not jumping into my opposite power,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
finding my confidence and talking to this person at first.
Yeah.
I sat probably, and for me, a week is a short amount of time compared to old Susan, right?
Yeah.
But I sat in it for a long time and you just stew,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then you start doing I don't like the word bad, but not healthy coping skills, right?
Absolutely.
Right?
I hear you.
You're treating yourself to whatever you want to eat or drink because you're
Mhm.
mad, right? And that just is going to make me feel better right away.
Yeah.
And then my anger's just growing towards this person
Absolutely.
without ever talking to them and getting their side of the story. And eventually I got so upset and was so kind of distracted that I realized, hey, this is starting to affect my work.
Good for you.
That I had a talk with my boss, who is not the person that made the comment, because we have to problem solve this.
Yeah.
I can't stay in this feeling.
Yeah.
Because it's not healthy for me.
Yeah.
It's now hurting the
Clients.
people I work for. And part of it is like it's not fair that person doesn't have to carry any of this either.
Yeah.
To me, it didn't feel fair.
Yeah.
So we eventually worked it out because I processed it with her and she talked to that person and then I felt comfortable to talk to that person after she had. So it all got worked out.
Yeah.
Did the behavior change? No, but I'm not ready to process that one because it just happened the other day.
Oh no.
I'm not as angry.
Good.
I think I recognize I'm more just frustrated and so
Yeah.
I'll process that separately, but
I think that there's so much power in that story though, because I think we have all been in situations where we've been angry and frustrated and stewed. And so I think, our podcast is all about, one, let's normalize feelings.
Yes.
Let's normalize circumstances, and then let's remove any shame and guilt
Right.
from how you processed it. And maybe if you can, oh man, my goal, you take one tool from this,
Mhm.
right? And you feel better, or it helps you in any way. That's that's my number one goal. So I just see you because I think you're right. I think the Susan I knew 100 years ago would have maybe not even stewed on it consciously, but just
I would have
stuffed it underneath.
stuffed and been depressed and
Totally.
thought they were.
Yeah, I thought it was
They
your fault.
meant it and it was
Yes.
real.
Yes.
And that's how they actually felt about me.
Yes.
Which is not true.
Yeah.
They would have fired me by now if they actually felt that way about me. But yeah. No, yeah, old Susan would have totally stuffed it and I would have gone down the sad depression route for sure.
Also, best friend Annie, not clinician Annie, is ready to fight this person. So
Okay.
present them at any time.
Okay.
I am a pro at slashing tires, which is obviously not true. I've never done that. I talk a big game. I've never
I don't
physically
think
fought
I'm
anyone.
strong enough.
To slash a
Wouldn't
tire?
you have to have a lot of force? Tires seem very solid and strong to me.
I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I think you're probably right. And what I have learned in my semi-mechanics training, I am a gearhead by nature.
Yeah.
And have just loved getting to know my partner because he's very gearhead oriented.
Ooh.
And wants to share that with me. I grew up where women don't do that, and so it's been
you wanted to but you couldn't because it
totally
wasn't okay. Right.
totally.
Yeah.
And I've had so much fun. And what I've learned, probably one of the coolest lessons is Erin. Men have statistically about 70% more upper body strength than females.
Right.
It's just
It
whatever
is.
sex
It is
sign
what
of
it
birth
is.
you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I have learned to kind of adapt to that. That being said, if I needed to slash a tire, I would just get a knife and a hammer and do a nice little tip-tap.
Are
bend.
you smart?
Yeah, well, I don't have the upper body strength, so I've got to compensate. So it's just a little more problem solving.
Okay.
So,
Also, we're not going to slash tires.
I've
guys.
never done it.
Why not?
I'm not going to say I'd never.
I will never.
If the zombie apocalypse happens and it's you or
They
me.
can't drive cars. You're just going to slash a living person's car? So the zombies eat them instead of you?
You said it, not me. I mean, I don't know.
That's dark.
I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it.
Don't worry. I will just let them eat me instead of you.
Jesus, no.
Yeah.
We're gonna build your power side so you don't feel that way. Obviously, I would never do any of those things. We're just teasing.
Of course.
Okay, so I want to reflect too on a time that I think I actually have two. One's pretty recent. And I did that one positively, so I'll save that one for.
Ooh,
yeah, I was actually really surprised.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was really cool, and I'm learning about myself. I used to think I was this fantastically independent human. I totally am.
Yeah.
And, working from home, I've realized I actually do need people.
Yes.
And it has been actually a really healthy exploration for me. But I would like to reflect on a time I got angry and didn't handle it well.
Uh-oh. Okay.
It is a kind of an extreme. It's definitely work related.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's another episode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We really actually should cover this because I think had I had different skills, the outcome would have been different.
Sure.
And it's so interesting. I had an amazing supervisor at the time, and she even kind of predicted what would happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I work in a field where there's court involvement. I work in a field where my job is to articulate to the court how to protect a certain population. And I am very articulate. And I am...
Oh, she good.
I am, as much as I tease on the podcast, I'm very good on the page.
Yes.
And it's all written. So it's strength based. And I had done everything I could to protect a client. And I'm not confident that the commissioner read even the report.
Oh, that would make me so mad.
It was, and ruled not 100% not in our favor, but it was enough of a loss where I was like, I could foresee not being able to protect this population, and some of the positive byproducts were I realized I need a therapist. I need a therapist now
Okay.
because I am.
Okay.
I am sobbing at this point.
Right.
And we were in cubicles at the time, so I just found I found like a conference room that was empty, and I called the EAP, and I highly, highly recommend. And I mean, like I have found that when I am angry, the most angry is, I'm a crier. So it looks like sadness, but I'm really mad.
But you're mad. But you're okay. You're mad crying.
We got this is happening.
Yeah.
And I remember being in supervision with one of my supervisors prior, and she said, my concern is that you are so driven to justice, things that are out of your control, it will break you, and you will not want to do this job anymore.
Oh.
She said it a lot nicer than that.
Right.
And she was right.
Oof.
I mean, she was very right. She was the best supervisor I've ever had. And I realized, so I guess some positives did happen. I just wasn't able to rebound and keep serving that population. Like, that was my point of burnout.
Gotcha.
I was done
Gotcha.
at that point. And I still serve that population just in a different avenue. But I couldn't take that loss and continue. Which,
wow.
given the tools and given, kind of the mental health I have now and the skills, I think I could absolutely have continued. But it broke me in, I don't think of, any nicer way to say that, and I realized I do not have skills around processing any of these emotions.
Wow.
Right? I don't know what to do when I don't feel like I have control, and I'm so angry that I don't have control.
Yeah.
I mean, and it is I would say it's valid, right? You should be angry.
Sure.
The system's very broken, all these things. And that can't break you as a human.
Right.
Because then you can't do that job anymore.
Right.
So it's just this really interesting, and that was a time, and it was actually that really brought me, so, there's strengths in everything. It really brought me to a point where I was like, I need to get serious about my mental health, my skills, and how I'm coping.
Okay.
Right? Because I am now broken from something I can't control.
Ugh.
Right? And truthfully, it was absolutely devastating.
Yeah.
So fast forward to now, right? The example I have that I did well on is not as extreme, but it's still kind of awesome. I got, I worked really hard. I got a real catty email from somebody that was basically a please see below email. I wanted to try to answer the email. And I got so frustrated. And then I had lunch with my coworker, and we're chatting.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked it through, and at the end I was like, oh my gosh, I coped through that. Having that reflective, and I was like, I'm not mad anymore. And again, please note that that's a very smaller circumstance.
Yeah.
But it has been part of my realization that you really need that personal support.
Yes.
And I think had I planned and had that personal support building up in this other circumstance,
yes,
it wouldn't have broke me.
I have to add on to that. I 100% agree with needing that support, because I feel like that has happened so many times to me where I have made progress and not recognized it until I was telling someone else.
Yeah.
And they're like, Susan, huge.
Oh, that's
So you need that person to reflect that opposite side of that wheel back to you, right?
Yes.
Because we're so used to being in the one side and the one way and the one feeling that even when we do the work to change, we don't always recognize it.
Yeah,
we maybe realize that, hey, this is different. It feels
Yeah.
different, things are going differently.
Yeah.
But not honoring that change and
Yeah.
that flip and that ability to handle differently.
Yeah.
Until someone is like, do you realize what you just did?
Yeah.
So I love it. I love it so much.
I really do, and I think, oh man, I hope that I can think of maybe a more humorous example, because I think the examples I'm using are really kind of rather intense,
Yeah.
Which is hard to find humorous versions, because what we do, both you and I, is very not a lot of comedic relief unless you're expending it at the expense of someone you shouldn't, right? And in that case, I've worked really hard to create an environment where I work where that is not tolerated.
Yeah.
Because I think that's, I think it's an easy coping skill for people in social work, and it's wildly inappropriate. So I feel like I'm speaking in code for people that maybe don't work social work, but if you do work in the social work field or in any service industry, really, I think you know what I'm picking up on. So.
Yeah.
Okay, can you think of any funny examples?
Of when I was mad?
No, it doesn't have to be mad. You can do like powerful, peaceful, joyful, scared.
I don't like scared. That's interesting. Because when I think of scared, I don't like that, but I also know that I actually do enjoy being scared.
Yeah, you have that weird thing where you like to go to like haunted houses and stuff.
And I'm terrified. I don't like to go because I don't find it scary. I'm terrified the whole time, but I enjoy that feeling somehow.
That's so interesting
and that, like,
to me.
Safety of being scared in a safe way, maybe? I don't know.
Like, yeah, I get that. Like, contained, startled. You
Yeah.
know, I don't know. Like, that's really interesting. I've never explored that. I had not liked being scared until you and I went to that really, really cool professional haunted house. Do you remember that? I was in Portland. It was Fright Night.
Yes. At the Coliseum.
Yes, yeah. I think we went with Ariane.
Terrifying.
But awesome.
Were you the person that gave them my name? Is that you?
I don't think it was on purpose.
Okay. Well,
it wasn't on purpose. I think I was calling your name, and now they all knew it. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. That would probably be the funniest thing I could think of, is being scared. But really, it's just funny to everyone else.
Because I leaked your name on accident.
Right. So then every scary character in there was not only just chasing me because I'm a reactive person, but I'm
you're
scared.
Perfect for haunted houses.
Screaming my name.
Oh my god.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you're welcome. I love you. You gotta be friends with me. Oh my gosh. You know, when you finish haunted houses, do you feel like you have to like process it at all?
No.
Okay. Wow. It's just like maybe it's an adrenaline rush you
enjoy?
Okay. I get that. I get that. I'm trying to think of the time that I've been.
And it doesn't like scare me later. I never have like. No. I
mean,
love scary movies too. Same difference.
I was scared of that one dog and ran away from those kids, and that feels like a really poor response. But then I also have the juxtaposition of the time I was scared and really did think someone was in danger and just fucking charged the car. So I think that's a great example of a time that was really positive, and then a time I really wish I could have done better. Yeah. You know, like I think that's what's really interesting about being a human is, one, you can react differently given the state, the day, the sleep, the protein, all those things.
Oh, yes.
And, you know, and so I just want to be so accepting of, like, people accepting themselves for times that they've reacted poorly. And, hey, if you react poorly, what do? Reparations, right?
Yeah.
You apologize. You do what you need to do to make it right.
Yeah.
And you work through that with that other person or those other people. And then, you know, be proud of yourself the times you react well.
Yes.
It's great. Yeah.
That's so true. That reminds me of, I think just because I drive a lot, traffic, right?
Oh, yeah.
Someone cuts me off one day.
Yeah.
And I am just gonna cuss a lot in my car.
Oh, really? I pay so much money to see that. What cuss
I
words
have got
do you even
a mouth on me. Well, we remember the first few episodes of the podcast when I was cussing a sailor.
But is that like a sailor to you?
Yeah, for me, that's like a sailor.
Yeah. So, okay, here's my question about your swearing. Is it like one word, you're like F, S-H, or is it, do you like string them together creatively?
No. It's usually one.
Okay.
Then I feel so bad.
Oh my god.
I tell them I hope they stub their toe.
Fair.
Not to their face. This is all in my car.
Okay.
This is all in my car, right?
Obviously, you would never do that to someone's face.
But then there's other times I get cut off and I'm like, I wonder what that person's going through. Are they on their way to the hospital? Are they in an emergency? Like, what's going on in your car or your life that you felt the need to do that, right? So, I mean, you're just 100% right. The same situation can present itself in a bunch of different fields.
Yes.
Depending on how you're doing and where you're at. And
yeah.
So it's not the situation per se, but where are you at in your feels that day? What are you feeling?
This is why when you're angry, you need to process it.
Oh.
Because if you are angry and you don't process it and somebody cuts you off, you're not going to be happy about it.
Mm-mm.
And all of it's almost like the lens that you view the world through.
Ooh.
You know, like, so if you're angry and you just let yourself be angry, but you don't process it, you're just going to fucking sit in it. Everything you see will be through the lens of anger.
Yeah.
Same with, like, joyful, which is kind of the cool thing.
Yes.
You're in a great mood, somebody cuts you off, you're like, oh gosh, hope they're
Please
okay.
come in.
I'll let you in.
Yeah.
You clearly need to be where you're going.
Yeah.
And then you're like cranking your tunes.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think so much of our feelings, if we don't process them, we are almost stuck in them.
Mm-hmm.
And ideally, it'd be super cool to be stuck in joyful. And hard things will happen. So,
yes.
you know, being stuck in emotion is not a positive thing. Like,
Yeah.
you want to be able to feel those feels, to process those things, all of them,
Yeah.
including joyful. Like, process it, live in it, feel it. Oh my gosh, it's like the greatest feeling, you know?
Oh. Yes.
Trying to think of a time, I think one of the ones I really want to think about is like my first coming of age experiences with power.
Oh.
And times I handled that really well.
Mm-hmm.
And then times I was like, I think powerful is an awesome feeling. And if you don't handle it well, you can kind of be a bully.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Exactly. But if you handle it well, you can have this beautiful self-confidence. I think our society...
It is beautiful.
It is the
when
best.
it's good.
When you are
and
feeling
right.
yourself.
Yeah.
And
For the right reasons.
for the right reasons, right? You're not feeling yourself because you trampled on a bunch of people to get there.
Right.
Those are not the right reasons.
No.
But you, like,
No.
did the work. You're feeling confident. You're feeling loved. You're like, going to walk into that room and make a difference.
Yeah.
That shit is real.
High kicking through life.
High kicking through life.
Yeah.
And even through grief, right? Like, just through life. But I think the flip side is that powerful feeling. Sometimes people don't know how to get there in a healthy way, and they do
Oh, sure.
poop on people to get there. And
Oh, 100%.
then we get the bully. Which is so hard because we have criminalized being a bully.
Right.
When really it is people just trying to feel good
trying
about
to
themselves.
cope in their own way.
In a naughty way.
In a not so great way.
Don't do that. Life tips from Susan and
Can
Annie.
we make that a button? I want that as a button. I just put
do
sometimes
that.
when I think I want to not high kick but low kick that person, right? Just hit that button.
Don't do that.
Woo!
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
All
good,
right.
it's
Oh,
good,
you're
it's
right.
good,
You're
it's
right.
good,
You're
it's
right. Don't do that. Don't.
Yeah,
do that.
yeah. But I also understand getting there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I really reflect on times, like, and I've totally done that, where, like, feeling confident feels really good, and it just feels amazing, and then you kind of step on people.
Yeah.
And honestly, that kind of can feel good. Like, it's...
Can it? Stepping on people feels good?
In the moment, I have empathy, so
Really?
in retrospect, the guilt and shame are terrible. But you've never, like, dissed someone and been like, oh, it feels kind of good.
No.
Wow. You're a better person than me. Although I have learned from it and do not
Have
do
I
that
dissed
anymore.
someone? Yes, but always immediately shame and guilt.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Never
yeah.
feels
I'm
good.
sorry. Yeah, the feeling is pretty immediate, but in the moment, doesn't it feel kind of good?
No.
Oh, okay.
So upset that I said it the minute it comes out my mouth.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're different people.
Okay.
So, I do actually, I was really reflecting on my life experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And I think being a little bit of a bully was pretty valued in like the charismatic society I was brought up in. And I have reflected on that quite a bit. In fact, even with my siblings, like just understanding like I'm right, you're wrong, which is a very Christian ideal.
Yes.
And just like how it feels good to be the one who's got all the answers.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of that has to do with the way I grew up, and thankfully have very much run out of that because that's just not the truth, you know. So I think some of that comes from ingrained. Yeah. But it is fun to talk about feelings and how we've processed them historically.
Yeah. Well, and like sad, I think a lot of the time, personally and professionally, I unfortunately spend a lot of time in the sad category.
Oh yeah.
Not unfortunately, it just is what it is.
Yeah, your
But
job is.
But I think it's so important again, this is one of those, you can't stuff those. You just have to feel sad.
Yes.
If there's a reason for it, right? And I tell my clients that all the time. When they're like, it's like I'm just having a really bad day and I'm really sad about this diagnosis I have. I said, yeah.
Yes.
You should be.
Yeah.
Like, if you're feeling that, do it.
Yeah.
Let that day be a sad day.
Yeah.
Now, if you only have sad days and they're stacking on each other and we can't have other feelings, now we need to talk.
We
right?
need to chat about balance.
Now we need to talk about balancing that out. But I think so often they think they're not allowed to be sad at all. Like, I shouldn't be sad all day. Go ahead and have a sad day. You deserve it.
Okay.
We all do. Even if you don't have a terminal diagnosis, right? You still deserve to have a sad day.
Absolutely.
When something sad happens. Or a few. Go for it.
Yes.
But finding that balance of realizing, whoa, this is now affecting other areas of my life. Now it's time to bring in that balance. How do I pull that other end in to kind of even me out a little bit?
Oh, man. There are two things that I think that is such a powerful analysis, because my two thoughts are, one is, you won't know if you're even out of balance if you're not able to articulate, right?
Yes.
So, hashtag throwback to our last episode.
Yeah.
You need to be able to analyzing those things. And the other piece is, relationship will help you reflect on when things are out of balance.
Yes.
And I know I've said it a million times. Our brains, our bodies, everything we are is wired to be in relationship. And that is why talking about feelings is so important. Because you won't be able to have the affirmation to take a sad day if someone's not telling you, because likely you didn't get that information as a kid.
Sure.
And so it's just, I just two of those things that really jumped out at me when you're telling that story. And it is beautiful. And you're right. Every human, take a sad day.
Yeah.
I hope to goodness you work in a job that lets you have sick days.
Yeah.
Sick days are not just for I have the flu, which totally blows. Take a sick day. I am grateful to work in an industry that allows me to have sick days for preventative care.
Yeah.
Which is good because we also work a very high pressure industry.
Right.
And there are times where, and I wasn't doing this, FYI.
Yeah.
In the time I did not handle my mad sadness well.
Yeah.
But I should have just been like, these 2 days, I'm going to be broken about this outcome.
Yeah.
And I'm going to cry the majority of the first day, probably half cry, half relax, and just let my body process the injustice in the world.
Yeah.
And I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think of those two really big pieces are start naming what you're feeling. So you know if you're out of balance or not.
Yeah.
And which will also help you really articulate to your doctor, FYI, if you need like psychotropics or anything. And then maintain those really healthy relationships, because those will help.
Yes.
So.
I also want to recognize that we both understand the privilege we have in our jobs to be able to take days off when we need them, right? So I understand that not everyone's going to have that ability, but I think, like you're saying, still identifying what's going on.
Yep.
Even if you then have to tuck that away until you do have that day off or that moment or that evening or whatever it is, right? Identifying it will help you be able to be like, okay, at least I know what this is about.
Yes.
So I can stick this over here until I have the time and energy to deal with that. So even if you can't feel your feel right away, identifying it is super important. Yeah. Then when you can go through feeling that and processing it.
Oh yeah, and text someone, hey, I got a story I gotta tell you, and I need someone to talk to about it.
Yeah.
Or your therapist.
Yeah.
This happened. If and not all therapists have this, but a lot of modern ones do, where you'll be able to text them like, I need to talk to you about A, B, and C at our next session. Yeah. And it's great. It's text record, so you don't forget. I do that too all the time. I'm like, I'm texting you this idea because I won't forget it.
Yeah, well, because if you don't write it down or put it on a Post-it or stick it in your calendar, bye-bye.
It gone. Bye-bye. And I have like weird middle of the night thoughts. Like I had this really good one of a podcast we're going to do future, and I literally texted you at like 4 o'clock this morning. Yeah. And was like, hey, texting you so I don't forget. But this is what I want to talk about. And it's going to be a great episode. You're going to love it. Okay. But we'll just leave that as a teaser.
A little teaser for next time.
It is gonna be a good one, but I did think I was like so smart, and it
Yeah.
did come to me. I was watching shorts on Reddit. I think it was
Yeah.
like scrolling through like little short vids, and it was really interesting. So
And I think if you're newer to feeling your feels, it's even more important to have that kind of social support and that person to kind of bounce that off of,
yes,
right? Like, I'm feeling this way because of this. Like, what do you think about that? Does that seem
yes,
like totally off? Will you help me kind of explore this? I think the more you do it, the better you get it at doing all of that yourself.
yes,
Faster, kind of getting to that on your
yes.
own. But in the beginning, I mean, you can look at the wheel and it might help you, but
Sure.
you probably need to process it with someone too.
Definitely do.
So don't be afraid to. I mean, I think we still do that with each other.
Absolutely.
Like, check, like, am I totally out of whack here with my feeling on this?
Yeah.
Just because we can get triggered and kind of go different ways. And not
Yeah.
that they're wrong, but it's nice to have someone to help kind of bring you back to center.
Oh my gosh,
a little
it's
bit.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And it can help you. I think that's really helpful. Like, and we've talked about the power of words, and we will continue to talk about it. But being able to articulate and having that person like a safe space,
Yeah.
where it's okay if you say stuff wrong. And one thing I really love about having you as a friend is like, I feel like you and I will narrate things that happened,
Yeah.
and then that reflective person will be like, oh, it's so interesting that you said that way.
Yes.
It makes me feel like, this is happening.
Yes.
And just like really, and then you get to this core feeling of, oh my gosh, this is what I was feeling. And I'm telling you, that's part of the process. Like, process, like your process.
The process of processing?
Yes.
Okay.
I love that so much. Yeah. And it is a very fulfilling and wonderful experience. And dare I even say, it's a bonding experience, right? Because
Oh, 100%.
yeah, you're pulling these things out. And I think you're right. What I'm super excited for us, and this is, again, another podcast topic, but for us to, we explored it a little bit in identifying, but we've got this wheel of emotions. How does feeling those emotions actually affect our entire body? Right? Like, what does it look and feel like when we're angry? What does it look and feel like when we're peaceful? What are the long-term effects of the more time we spend in those pieces?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't talk about that without kind of the thing you mentioned about social justice is we are incredibly privileged to work in a field that allows us the time and space that we need. Although, sometimes there's undertones where people like make you feel guilty for taking sick time and all those things. But
Sure.
By technicality, I am allotted that time and space.
Right.
People are, and how that affects people that don't have that opportunity, and how are they supposed to table that and then get home, cope, self-care, you gotta do it all really fast because you gotta go to work tomorrow, and if you don't, you can't feed your kids, and that tax on your life and how that feels. So
oh my goodness, yeah,
I do think exploring emotions and how your body feels during those emotions is worthwhile.
100%.
Yeah, we'll table that.
Yeah.
It's going on
Well,
the
and
board.
we kind of tabled it with the just feeling totally overwhelmed when everything's just too big.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
All of our podcasts run together.
That's great.
I
Because
mean,
mental health.
We're like a mental health rope, right? But a bunch of different little threads, but they all.
We're like a tapestry.
We're a mental health hashtag merch.
Hashtag merch. Look for the merch. It's a tapestry. I love making a tapestry joke because I grew up in a Pentecostal church, and there was lots of. All of them were like this, and if you know, it's this royal purple shimmery tapestry with gold.
Yep.
And a lion. There's
we were
lion.
Methodist, so it was
Okay.
red and gold. But
Okay. Well, we were Pentecostal, so it was purple and gold and a lion. There was always
a lion.
a lion.
We're always a flame.
Oh,
Methodists
interesting.
always have a flame.
Okay, lion and a lamb. Lion and a lamb, that was our deal. And a lot of waving of the banners. Did you do that?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of banners hanging in church, but we never waved
Oh,
them.
well, if the service got wild, people would pull those down and wave them in front. Like,
scary. That's terrifying.
I gotta tell you, it was a weird experience, and we'll dive into that, you guys. Trust me. Well,
Methodists stay in their seats.
yes.
We like to stay right in our seats.
Pentecostals
Keep our hands to ourselves. We don't put them up.
Oh, we real handsy.
Yeah.
We just in there. Yeah, just like up, out, on the forehead. You know,
Everybody
just
touching everybody.
Slain in the spirit. The whole deal.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you do know what I'm talking about with the
100%.
banners. Yeah, there was
100%.
banners. I remember I went to your church once and I saw the banners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's banners.
But you guys are much more. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I think
Put your hand down. Put your hand down.
Please keep your hands to yourself. All right. On that note, I hope you enjoyed us.
I hope you felt some feels.
I hope you felt some feels and feel encouraged. Like, I want to share our times that maybe we didn't make the right choices. Not right. I don't like right and wrong, but could have made better choices and help you feel
different choices.
Would have had positive outcomes, right?
Yeah.
And I just want you to feel like it's okay to know that a time that you did something could have had a better outcome.
Yeah. Well, that's how you learn.
That's how you learn. Yep.
Is recognizing this time didn't go so well. What am I going to do differently next time? So even if you're having one of those, good.
I love that.
Learn from it.
Yep. And let's cut out shame and blame.
Oh, cut it out.
Get it out.
Then scrunch it up.
Burn it.
And burn it.
Burn it.
Don't put it in the recycling.
You don't. No. We don't need that coming through on more stuff now.
Right. We don't need that recycled back into other stuff. Burn it.
Burn it.
Burn it.
And then feel so good about yourself because you were awesome.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Go you.
Go you.
Go you. We're
also,
proud of you.
Thank you for listening. Super fun.
Thank you.
And we will have a great episode next.
Yeah.
And I just am happy to spend time with everybody.
Yeah, we love you.
Very much.
So much. You got this.
You got this.
You can do it.
Power suit. Power tie.
High kick your feelings. Here we go. High kick your feelings.
Hey, if you have thoughts, email us
and
at...
your sensible flats. don't email us in your sensible flats. High kick your feelings in sensible flats. Email us at twofriends.onechat@gmail.com.
All spelled out.
All spelled out. TWOFRIENDS.ONECHAT@gmail.com.
Bam.
With my eyes closed. Because you need to spell it out in your head.
She's a boss bitch. Also, you can visit us on our website, all spelled out, twofriendsonchat.com.
Yeah.
And we would adore your feedback.
Please, please, please.
Please, please, please. And also, have a great night or day.
Bye. Bye.